As an XRP holder, this is an interesting view because we've been waiting for so long, and right now we can really ask this question: is the wait over? As we see XRP breaking higher against BTC on a long-term chart, that's interesting because as we take a step back, it shows us how high we can go. And look at the RSI. It's getting interesting, right? After 700 days, close to that, we are breaking higher. Then you go on to XRP against Ether. That's again reaching the overbought territory on the RSI on a daily. So you are seeing something changing right now. And on the fundamental side of this, yes, you are getting more information of how Ripple is spread throughout the world. And it's been some time before we actually saw all this happening. But right now, ECB is kind of giving you a hint where the direction is. So if you are interested inside this area of price action and the utility of the coin, understand things are coming here. Now, don't just go into the market and say you are looking at everything and you know that, because there are something which are uncertain for a set of assets. When they say proof of stake is not going to be good, it is like a cloud, because we have a lot of different assets which are running on that particular mechanism, showing you a lot of utility. Let's actually dive through this and see how things are evolving. This is a scientific investor family where the retail normal guys become the world's next 10%. So guys, when we are looking at this, if you remember what I've talked about in last video, keep this in mind. $2 billion volume in 24 hours coming in is not just retailers, it's big money, smart money coming in. Most likely when they enter the market, that's close to the bottom or it's reversing. And they see something happening inside this market. So when you are looking at this and trying to put that narrative of what is happening and how you can take benefit of it, you are looking not only at the technicals, yes, you are also looking at the fundamentals, how things are evolving, right? All of these are actually happening right now in front of us. So if you are going to listen till the end, please do hit that like and subscribe button. Now on the fundamental side of this, as we look at this, we see like, Kexa Bank, Worldline, Amazon, all of these things are happening. But at the same time, when you listen to Ashish Birla here, it gets even more interesting because the narrative given here is actually validated when you go on to these reports where these big guys who are being chosen, like the Worldline, are giving you that narrative, giving you that perspective why this is useful. Then you actually go in and see like, okay, what's it about? It's not only about speed. Great. What else are they all looking at? And that's great because it's not just one thing. They are eyeing at everything. What? Use of XRP and how they can utilize this to reduce their cost and increase their efficiency. So this is an old one, but understand when they look about this, when you see Amazon in their name, you go back here and listen to this. That's going to be a lot of information for us when we read the others too.
Talked to a lot of our customers around the world, and I was surprised that even large customers, it takes them 3 to 5 days to get the payment where it needs to be. And this was the case of Amazon paying merchants cross-border and taking weeks for that payment to arrive. 5% of payments fail using the traditional wire system. We talked to a lot of our customers.
So what's interesting here? The way he starts, we talk to a lot of our customers. And an example, who does come out? It's Amazon. Great. And what's the issue? It takes 3 to 5 days, one. And 2, 5% failure for those payments. So Amazon as a company who is so efficient in what they are doing, they now have to wait for 3 to 5 days for one payment to reach the other side. And then they have to follow up in most of the payments because they need to know like which one reached there, which one did not, right? Because there is a 5% failure rate. Now that's why when you come here and read through these kind of stuff, you like, okay, Things are really changing because they really don't want a slow network with a high fee, because you're not getting the benefit of anything there. You really don't want to be on the edge when you're paying that much amount of money. And when you have options like this, where you're not paying that much and you get the payments like this, I think everyone would like that, because the efficiency, speed, and cost, that's what is a concerning factor for international payments as of now, and that's changing. So when it is changing worldwide, you do understand Ripple is at the center of all this. You look at all this old news, but it's not just old news, it's the partnership which actually matters. Because when they talk to these guys and start working with, and then you see, okay, 2022 this year, for the swell event, you're actually really going to see them coming on board, Chief Digital Officer. You need to understand, okay, they did not abandon the partnership. They are working together on something which is really big and massive. So I believe, yes, there are things going to be which are going to be crazy. And, as the CBDC narrative comes in, yes, you are going to see challenges. And that's where in the existing market, when you see like 20,000 assets, you'll be confused which one to actually go on with. But make sure you look at the volume, you look at the fundamentals. And once you understand the fundamentals, jump in. It's on to you. It's on your shoulders, right? Great. But when you're looking at this, XRP to BTC, it's breaking higher. Great. XRP to Ether, it's moving higher. Ether, Bitcoin is dropping. And if you remember in last video, we actually literally talked about that, why Ether prices are dropping and, why it may continue. And we had our level of support and what's happening after the merge. Great. If you haven't seen that, I hope that's going to be helpful for you. Now, in the market, you see this much amount of money coming in, and the question is it actually going to Bitcoin? Is it actually going to Ether? It does not actually look like that. The inflows is reducing, and you see the market moving higher. So where do you think it's going, right? I think that's one of the easiest stuff to see, and the market is going to move, and you will see entire asset class moving. But in between that, if you get something bad in terms of the news, some of these are going to tank. And that's where you need to look at. Like when XRP moved last time, Bitcoin dropped and everything stopped. Now, XRP is moving higher and you see Bitcoin, you see even Ether trying to push back up. That's a change. You look at the volume and you're like, okay, there's a lot of money in the exchanges which is going to flow in to the crypto, because I don't actually really believe like 2 billion a day, which is new money coming in, and the existing money, pool of money, which is inside the market, is just going to wait there for the entire time, because there is 60 billion, which is moving here and there. And it's only USDT, because in the market, it's not only the one stable coin, but it is the most dominant one. You will see how Binance USD moved. You will see how USD coin moved. All of these volume is actually coming into the crypto market. So prepare for something really big. Now, when we say something big in terms of the dollar value for XRP, we are still inside this channel. We need to see a break higher. That's when you are like, okay, something big is coming our way, because the XRP, BTC, and Ether Pay actually highlights like something is starting, or it just started. Great. And on the fundamental side of this, you're like, okay, 19th is an important date, whether it's going to be like, okay, the case is solved, which I think, may not happen, because, we have been through a lot. So if the positive news comes, it's good, but I think we still have time for that. But inside this market cycle, if you see XRP moving higher even without that, I just feel for a lot of people who are being blocked out from the exchanges, because, imagine the price going $15, $20 and then coming back to $3, $4. They missed that opportunity because these exchanges are kicking them out. It's a lifetime opportunity which is actually moving in that direction if you are not positioned well. So make sure you are in an exchange where you have a lot of volume for your asset. If it is XRP, then come down here, look at the exchanges, make sure you are in exchanges where there is a lot of volume. I repeat, I remember saying this last time back in 2021 when we had a lot of volume. If you have a lot of your money in exchanges where the volume is like this, it's going to be really hard for you to actually exit if you have a big amount. Even if it is, say, $10,000 and XRP prices skyrocket, now it's going to be hard for you to actually take it out. So don't even think about guys who have $100,000 of XRP, who have $1 million worth of XRP. They're going to have hard time. So that's why if you're here, Binance, Bitrue, where you have a lot of volume, that's okay, because now you're dealing with like 40,000 Bitcoin a day. And most of that is actually in Binance, Bitrue, top 5-6 exchanges. That's great. So make sure you understand the market, you are in the market, and you do take the right step. And it's not only going to be just one asset, which is going to be moving higher, because this is going to be a tsunami where a lot of assets will move. But I don't think all the 20,000 coins in the market is going to move, because if you look at the other side of this, you will see a lot of them in red, and then on a daily basis, you will see a lot of them volatile. So some of these are opportunities, some of these are red flags, because you really have to understand what market likes. You like XRP, great. Whether they like something even more is the question. And if you have a little bit of exposure there, it gives you the ability to take that profit and buy more XRP. That's what I do. Now, you don't have to do that. It's completely up to you. But when you're in the market, you also have to keep in mind that when Bitcoin bounces back, $30,000 Bitcoin is going to be a resistance range, 29, 30, that range. So if that time XRP is at $2, $3, $4, I don't know where it is at that time, but consider taking some profits if it is at a desirable level for you. Because at that time, you are retesting this level of breakout, which you haven't done till now. If it actually breaks higher in a short term without much of a consolidation, that's super bullish. But if it does not, then there is a concern of the price slowing down here. So you do want to ensure if there is another dip, making a higher low of 20,000, 25,000, you still will see a lot of volatility in the altcoins. And at that point, you don't want to blame anyone. You want to see like the market is volatile, but you are going to make sure you take the benefit of it. When it runs higher, crazy higher, 5, 10, 15, 20x, that's when you are really looking at taking profits, not when it actually moves like 5 or 10%. If you're trading with leverage, okay, that 10% can be 100% if you are 10x leverage, but just a 10% move in the market is going to kick you out. You are liquidated, you lose your money. So make sure you know what you're doing. Otherwise, the market can be so bad for you. Now, when we say inside the market, there's a lot of assets moving, you would remember like what I talked about in Atom, right? Stuff is happening. So one of the stuff we can look at, like, okay, you see like Atom, you see XRP. Now, okay, the third one is Chiliz. If you go look at Chiliz right now, in the USD terms, what you're going to observe there right now is like the price broke higher, it is moving higher. You want to actually see how this evolves. But if it is actually breaking higher here, that's literally like a bullish continuation pattern. You're going to see something happening there. Now, at the same time, you can look at how we looked at the XRP. Similar way, you are looking at Bitcoin against Bitcoin for Chiliz. And that's interesting, right? It's really becoming interesting. And then you go against Ether and you're like, okay, Ether is dropping, so you're getting more advantage. But also understand, last time this happened, there was a lot of room to the upside. So it won't just be one asset in the market which is moving higher. There will be a lot of them. And we really don't know which of these are going to move together. So that's why I say don't be in highly correlated assets. If you have 20 of them and all of them move up and down together, it's okay if you have a ton of patience. If not, it's not good. So you need to have some, which is like, 50% correlation. That's the maximum I've seen. Otherwise, most of them goes like 60-70% correlated. But don't go for 95% correlated assets like XRP and XLM. They move like 90-95% correlated. Most of the time, 90%, right? You don't want, if you are trading, you don't want to be in both of them. You are looking for one. Bet. Now, if you're betting against the market, you also have to look at what the market is doing. So the dollar is slowing down. Okay, it did not actually go high and make another high. So what we want to see is this breaking lower, and on a weekly, when you're still looking at the MACD, it is interesting to see that it still did not break higher. It is still forming in this pattern. And you see like currency, the world is, Forex world is really volatile right now. And you see gold, a little bit of bounce here and there, but it is still lower. It is showing you that it may break lower, but you want to see dollar coming down. And if that happens, it's going to be a lot of different stuff happening, right? Then you come here. This is important. You need to take time to read this and understand this. Because as the market is moving towards a positive time, an era, you see SEC coming out like this. That does not look good, at least for those who are in US. And I'm like, okay, what are these guys actually doing? Right? And then you look at this, because here it actually shows like, okay, if a bank want to hold crypto, it will be considered as liabilities rather than assets. It's a volatile asset, but liability, I don't get it. Now, what that means is the bank to hold this, they really have to have the equivalent of cash on the other side, which is going to be a pain point for the banks. And I don't think it's actually incentivizing someone to do this, right? It's like, okay, punishing for them to doing this. Now, when the bull market happens and the crypto value is going up, for a bank to hold this, if they are holding 10 billion of Bitcoin and it's now 50 billion, they also have to keep the other side, the cash flow, which is bad. Then you look at this one. Okay, Ether is moving to POS, and that may mean it's becoming a security. I'm like, okay, this guy previously talked about like, okay, it becomes a security and then eventually the ecosystem matures and it's not a security. And here this guy saying, okay, it was a security, then it did evolve and it become at the time, it was not a security. And right now it's going back and it's becoming another security. I'm like, okay, I don't really understand what this guy is actually talking about, whether it's about XRP, Ether or whatever. I'm like, this is a guy coming out from MIT. But when he was back there, and you listen to his lectures, he was explaining things correctly. So that means for XRP, as a bridge asset, how things work, he know all of this. It's just closing your eyes and playing for someone else for some ever reason. Maybe it's monetary, who knows? That's just my thought process, right? Then you see this one. The complete and utter hack job of crypto by the White House. Now it's like, okay, you are the US. If you really want to succeed in this new space, the new technology, you want to lead, not kill the innovation. When you are in this market, make sure you do take time to go through these kind of stuff and understand what the market is showing you. Because the opportunities won't wait for you. And when you see something trending higher, that's a good sign for you to think about taking that opportunity. Because opportunity cost will be there for sure. You will see some random coin popping, crazy. But that's not what you're looking at. You're looking at best educated, calculated guess about what may happen in some of the assets with certainty, with a lot of volume, with a lot of exchanges to get out when you want to, and it's not highly correlated assets. We recently did a weekly knowledge sheet for assets considering 25 assets last week, and this week we did 28 assets. And the first week when we followed different assets, and inside this market right now when we are observing all these assets moving up, I'm like, okay, the factors and parameters, it was not small, 8 to 10 parameters which we went through to decide whether that asset is actually going to go up or not, and that's really working. I'm like, okay, some of these are really inside that, and those who have seen that 2 weeks back or like 10 days back already know that's working. So if you want those kind of stuff for the crypto market to prepare your portfolio well aligned for this coming wave, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So that's it for today, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.